Welcome to episode 13 of season 5 of the Gateway Geeks podcast, the final race for now. This time we watch F9 of the Fast and the Furious franchise and prepare for new missions ahead. Now your hosts, Joe, Tracy, Sarah, and Chris.
Leave meeting.
Right. Sarah has left the meeting. Okay, everyone, we made it to F9 in the Fast and Furious franchise. This is episode 13 of season 5 of the Gateway Geeks podcast. I'm Joe and Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Gomillion. How about you, Sarah?
Hi, I'm Sarah Jane Connor. Sarah? I'm Sarah Jane Connor. People would know if you didn't talk over me, Joe.
Sorry. My penis made me do it.
Hi, I'm Chris, and Joe's penis also made me do it.
Very powerful.
Look, I just found out we've been recorded this whole time. I thought we were just a bunch of friends hanging out, and Joe's tweeting about his podcasts. I'm like,
know.
what?
I like mic'd my whole house. Sarah and Chris were like, why does he want to watch all the Fast and Furious movies? This is fucking weird, but okay. Joe's a weird guy.
The worst part is that was our idea.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was. That was absolutely your idea, Sarah. That was, yes, you and Chris. You're like, how can we
Sarah and I
ourselves?
have been pitching that since literally the first time you were like, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? Yeah. And we're like, yeah, we should watch all the Fast and Furious movies. I did this to myself.
And you know what? It was a great idea. I stand behind it.
There you go.
So far, you know what's so weird? Every time I start watching one of these movies, I, at the beginning, almost always think I'm going to fucking hate it. Halfway through, I love it. And by the end, I'm bored. That's like my pattern every single time. Except for Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw was good. I agree, Chris.
Yeah, no. Hobbs and Shaw was a good time. Was a flawed good time. This is about 25 minutes of a solid throttle action and then a whole bunch of shit I don't care about. This movie had 5 things going for it. 5. You got Tej, you got Roman, you got, what do I keep wanting to call her? Rom. What the hell's her name?
Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Oh. And
then you've got Michelle Rodriguez's left and right arms.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Was it just me, or even by Michelle Rodriguez standards, was she like extra jacked in this movie?
Oh, she was extra jacked.
Yeah.
I think, I remember distinctly saying that, just being like, Jesus Christ, Michelle Rodriguez looks like she's going to tear someone's arms off their body.
Also,
I think she should have done that. I think that should have been an improvement on the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the number one thing that needs to be discussed, and I've noticed it previously, but it stood out enough that I laughed out loud this time. Are we all in agreement that Vin Diesel cannot run? It looks so like that guy's definitely had like a knee injury or something.
Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Tom Cruise. He's like the world's worst screen runner.
So he can't run, and Paul Walker couldn't walk.
Yes.
Just a lot of mobility issues.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like he can't run on camera or like naturally. It's almost like, okay, I need you to run over here. Okay, like walk real fast. No, I need you to run over here. Okay. So do your knees usually bend when you run? I've never done this before.
He kind of moves like a slasher movie villain.
Mm-hmm.
He walks amazing. His walk is phenomenal. He walks like fucking Jason and like you say, like a slasher film. He's got like this threatening like cat that's either gonna eat you or fuck you thing going on when he's walking. And then he starts running, and he runs like Pitbull dances.
Yeah, and much like Jason, he also gets there in time somehow, even though he always walks. So he also has the ability to teleport, apparently.
Well, no, because he drives real fast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. That's how he compensates.
He's the opposite of like what they used to yell at the pizza delivery place. Quick on your feet, not on the street. No, he's the opposite. He'll drive there in 30 seconds and then take a full minute to walk up to you, so you have to wonder whether he's there to fuck you or kill you.
Right.
The good news is, if he's there to kill you and you run away, he can't keep up.
Joe, so Pablo is on top of the TV.
Pablo, it's fine. He's up there. He's up there. Like halfway through, he's going to knock something off. It's going to crash in, spill this scalding hot coffee into my lap. So I just hope the coffee is cool by the time he does that. Oh my God.
Okay.
I am actually at home. So at some point, Minnie is definitely going to jump up on my shoulder like a parrot.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It's been a long time since you've been at home for one of these.
Yeah. It's a frozen hellscape outside.
I heard that there's been a lot of traffic accidents in Illinois today. So
yeah, I drove Meg to the hospital this morning because she wanted to play catch up, and the interstates are fine. The surface roads are an ice rink.
Yeah.
So I kicked everyone off the I actually turned off the Wi-Fi. I'm running only the hard line, and we'll see if I have enough bandwidth for once.
I mean, it sounds good on my end.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Seems fine. Okay, so who's going to give the actual synopsis?
Sounds like Sarah is the one who's watched it most recently and may have the best grasp on things.
Yeah. Theoretically. We'll
so
see.
Sarah, I'll start you off. I'll just start you off by saying John Cena is Dom's brother in this.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing that has happened. I don't know why John Cena is apparently contractually obligated to appear in every single action movie franchise at this point in his life. But
to be clear, I support that.
I mean, he's always a good presence. He was surprisingly a great addition to Bumblebee, which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he's playing not Duke.
Yeah, the only sane man in the military and within the universe of the Bumblebee movie.
No one else concerned that they're called Decepticons?
Yes. That's a real line of dialogue from Bumblebee. Also, Bumblebee is the best Transformers movie.
Hands down, easily.
Yeah. Oh my God. What was the movie he was just in where he played Peacemaker? What the fuck was that?
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah, I just looked it up, and they're making a series of Peacemaker on HBO Max. So
I am looking. Have you watched Suicide Squad yet?
I have. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's high art. Mm-hmm. Like, honest to God, is that the first time anyone has ever let Idris Elba play stupid?
Probably.
Like, he always plays so high status. Yeah. And it's like, God, he plays like charismatic dumbass so well.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I haven't seen it yet. It's like himbo Idris Elba.
Yes.
Get into that.
It is.
It's him and John Cena trying to out himbo each other for like 2.5 hours.
Incredible. I'm sold. That should have been the marketing for this movie.
It should have.
Yeah, like at one point they're just walking through a village slaughtering people trying to like out maniac each other. Just like making jack off motions at each other like, yeah, whatever.
Oh man. Okay, so this movie begins with a flashback to the day the Dom Toretto's father died / was murdered. It's fucked up. I don't know. It's weird.
It's unclear. Yes, until very late in the movie.
It's ambiguous. I'm like, honestly,
his non-consensual cremation.
Yeah. All the family stuff is like real like twisty and like honestly kind of works like mostly, but like I will say the opening scene is weirdly paced. it's like the kids they got to play the young versions of him and his brother nail the energy of both of them amazingly well. Yeah, no, that was very good casting. Yeah, those two are great. So Dom's father dies in a fiery explosion. It's very sad. We cut to the remote farm where Don and Letty and their child, well, Dom's child with
little Brian.
Yeah, Lil Brian. It's great. That's also his rap name. It works out right.
the science squad, I guess. What are we calling those three collectively? The throuple.
The throuple.
The throuple ride in. They don't realize it's them. Pull guns. They're like, hey. And then Mr. Nobody's plane went down over a heavily militarized South American country or Central American country. Was it a real country? I didn't actually catch the name where it was.
It was just like a corner of Mexico.
Okay, that's what
they were just like the military control.
No, Joe looked it up.
It's near Spain. It's in Spain. It's near Seville.
Wait, it's in Spain?
Or there may also...
No. Ibeniza, where Ibeniza is where they escaped to.
Oh, no. I'm talking about the other one, the Monte Quinto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Monte Quinto.
That's the thing that's, quote, near Ibeniza. No.
Right.
They were, in some weird corner of South America blowing up their soldiers for reasons.
Yeah. So Mr. Nobody went down in a plane crash. Apparently they could only get Kurt Russell for like a day for this movie. So he's maybe dead, but probably not. Like, his plane went down. It was in a lot of pieces, but like nobody seems to fucking die in these movies, actually. So
spoilers.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. So Mr. Nobody sent out a broadcast encrypted, like, to just them to like get a thing that he has. I did not really understand the MacGuffin of this. It's just,
Sarah, it's fine. It's a prism that hacks the world. It's fine. It's
yeah. It's like a little disco ball. It's in halves. You put it together. It hacks anything.
No, Sarah, it hacks everything at once.
Everything at one time. Incredible.
It's the Ares project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally just like they just took the plot of the last movie where it's like she can hack anything, and now they're like, what if she hacks everything?
Yeah, I thought it was just the MacGuffins from like the last 3 movies mushed together.
Kind of, honestly. Yeah, they're running out of MacGuffins. They've raised the stakes so many times that there's really not much else for there to go.
Right.
I think in the 10th one, they fight off an alien invasion.
Probably. I mean, like, where else do we go? They've already been to space. Like,
what if they fight off the Decepticons while driving the Autobots?
It has to be a merger of those 2 franchises. Otherwise, aliens are going to have to invade Earth with alien cars.
Yeah.
That's all that could happen.
Holy shit, yes. Wait. I don't care about this movie anymore. Let's talk about Fast and Furious 10. It's post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
No explanation. Suddenly, it's just like fast forward 10 years. Society has collapsed. It's fucking Fast and Furious Mad Max.
Yes, I'm into it.
Yeah, that sounds way better than several of the films we've watched. So.
Including this one, yes.
Yep.
Oh, man. So,
I think we all owe Tracy individually drinks after this for making her do it. For making her be on this podcast, I think.
I'll take them, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But okay.
I don't think Tracy's having a bad time.
Okay.
No.
You know who is having a bad time? You know, I should wait till we get there in the recap. But did anybody feel like oh shit, what's his name? The dude who plays man, I have blanked on this whole movie so bad. The resurrected dude, Han. Did he seem like he didn't want to be there?
Yeah.
He had a low energy.
I mean, he always kind of has like cool guy energy, so you wonder if it's that. But it's also like, yeah, man, he like got a haircut and he's like, I'm not growing my hair out again. Fuck you. Give me $2 million.
Yeah, I don't know. Right. Maybe he was aiming for like depressed, wife guy as widow, but it just landed on like, I don't know, when's lunch?
Yeah.
He is always hungry. Joe and I were talking about like that's the best way to kill off his character is to just sprinkle a little poison and some corn nuts,
That's true.
At the bar and sit next to him and have a meaningful conversation, he's gonna fucking die. It's all over.
Yeah, not since Jennifer Lawrence in the last couple X-Men movies have I seen that level of energy from a performance.
Okay, so where the fuck were we in the recap?
Where were we? I don't know.
Oh, they lost the MacGuffin.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Real quick note on this part. I love this trend that's emerging. That again, I think I said it before we started recording. All I care about is the throuple. The three of them, love them. They're great. If they're on screen, I'm having a good time. They want to go to space. What the fuck ever. They want to have a little domestic dispute. Awesome. I want to just watch a whole TV series about these three.
Yeah.
That said, I do love this thing that has developed where when properly stressed and his life on the line, Roman becomes the world's greatest marksman. It's happened in 2 straight movies now.
Yes. This is accurate and very concerning.
I have a theory about the car religion. We can get into that after the recap.
Yes. Well, Sarah,
there's so much car religion stuff to talk about this time.
There's tons. We see car heaven briefly.
We do.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
So say we all, Prindle.
Okay, so they lose the MacGuffin to John Cena, who is better at cars maybe than Vin Diesel. It's a weird dynamic where like he's supposed to be a threat, but also he's like the younger brother that has always lived in Vin Diesel's shadow. So that doesn't really make sense, but whatever. John Cena is here. He's Dom's secret brother who's never been mentioned before. Which like makes sense given the backstory, but also it's like, okay.
Well, it's the same thing that we ran into with Jason Statham. It was the same thing where it's like, oh, you have a secret brother. Secret brothers are a big thing in this franchise.
Because it's about family.
That's right. And unacknowledged siblings. Yes.
Look, I'm a lifelong Star Trek fan. I'm not going to complain about secret brothers. Everybody's got a fucking secret sibling in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Okay, so John Cena escapes via a combination of drones and magnets, and then they get out of the part of Mexico that they were in, I guess. Yeah, the geography of that was very confusing.
It was.
Right. Then they fly to Spain because they're going to go because they have a new clubhouse.
Yes, because Mr. Nobody left them a secret bunker in his will, I guess.
Like, that's definitely a black site torture area, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like,
something very untoward has happened there.
Like, if they had really checked all the doors, there's still some guys in there.
Yeah. So then they talk about the MacGuffin, I think. And then they all split up to do some solo missions, I guess. So Vin Diesel goes to the head of his dad's old pit crew when his dad was racing, and that's the guy who took in John Cena. After Dom made John Cena leave because John Cena was directly responsible for their father's death. And then Letty and Mia, because Mia shows back up. Brian is staying at home with all of the kids. It is implied Brian is babysitting throughout this film, which is honestly a great way to deal with that particular filmmaking problem.
Yep, the dead character is the most feminist of this crew.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Only good man is a dead man.
Well said.
So Letty and Mia go to Tokyo because, like, what was it? Tom got a fucking postcard
From Han, that's right.
From Han, like before he died. That was like in Tokyo, from Tokyo, was postcard from Tokyo. And so they go to Tokyo, have a weird conversation. I don't know. I think it was an attempt by the movie to pass the Bechdel test. It was mostly just weird.
How long were they there? Because they cut back.
I don't know.
To like 3 or 4, like the rest of them are traveling around the world. And in that same time, they have stood up from the noodle bar, walked across an alley and up a staircase.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. And I hate to bring up Sean again, but Sean wasn't in Tokyo anymore, was he?
No, he was in Germany.
He was in Germany. Okay, so he comes in later. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. No, that's what Roman and Tej did. They went to Germany to find the Tokyo Drift crew. And like, honestly, I was fine with that. Like, that could have been way more annoying than it was. It probably helps that this was filmed 17 years after Tokyo Drift, which is insane to think about.
It's been 20 years since the first one came out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. The years really do start coming and they don't stop coming. So yeah, Tokyo Drift crew is there. Nice to see Bow Wow again. I don't know. Like, Sean is not that annoying. They're like very minor to the plot. They show up like maybe 2 or 3 times. Like, they're fine. So like really the meat of what happens during this section is with Letty and Mia in Tokyo, even though like the pacing of that is wild. You're right. But they find an apartment with a Mexican flag because of, Mexico. It's dumb. I don't like. Sometimes when you're explaining this movie, it's just like, listen, it's like there's a reasoning behind it, but it's not good. So
it's like it doesn't matter. It's just a transition to the next scene. Don't worry about it.
Mia, do you remember what Han always said about Tokyo? Yeah, that it's Mexico.
That it's his Mexico, and then there's a Mexican flag in a fucking window, and that is the transition.
Honest to God, was a conversation in Tokyo Drift.
They
throw nothing away.
They don't. So Letty and Mia find this apartment, get attacked sort of by a random teenage girl. Not really attacked. She's like, get out, because the apartment was being attacked by question mark. I don't know who those guys were. Does anyone know who those dudes were?
They were the thugs. They were John Cena's thugs looking for the key.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They were from the from John Cena's weird rich friends Banana Republic country.
John Cena has like a weird rich financier.
Who like owns a country. He's
like his dad is the dictator of like an Eastern European country. Yeah. So like he's technically a diplomat's son. Like
yeah, it would have been so easy if it had been his plan and he had hired John Cena.
Yeah, the relationship there was very strange.
John Cena like got this idea to take over the world, and I don't know, like went on villain GoFundMe.
I guess.
And he's like
posted in a Reddit forum.
He's all like, "This is my world. I'm in the spy world." Like, right, but what are you doing in the spy world?
Yeah.
Is this just like a side project you've had going for like 2 decades of like, hey, I know about this ball that hacks everything?
Yeah, that's not clear. Okay, so Letty and Mia meet the teenage girl. They get attacked by John Cena and his weird rich friend's thugs. There's a sniper in the street. The camera pans back. You realize the sniper is Han. Han is alive.
Hey guys, sorry I haven't been around much. Here's the child I stole.
So Han has a child.
It's just me and this teenager that I kidnapped that I raised living with me, and we only seem to have one bed. It's fine. Don't ask questions.
Jesus Christ. So good news in terms of car religion is Han is not in car hell. The cars did protect him.
Yes.
That was one of our lingering theological questions.
Yes. Giselle, however, apparently is dead, but probably isn't really dead in future movies.
I mean,
well,
who knows?
That's because she fell out of the vehicle. She abandoned the vehicle.
She did not fall onto a vehicle.
Right. And how many times, just real quick, how many people in this movie almost died but fell on cars and survived? Because
a bunch.
Everyone.
At the beginning, Letty was taking a lot of extra risks, but twice she landed on a car.
Yes.
After she was thrown clear, and so she was fine. So
and the car got
times in this movie, Dom catches her midair with a car.
Yes.
She's falling. I better hit her with my car. So it'll be fine.
My favorite, I don't know why, my favorite stunt in this is when Dom is like driving off the cliff and he catches the thing in the wheel and turns the wheel and swings the car like Tarzan. Stupidest bullshit I've ever seen, but
incredible.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't like anything that was CGI in this movie. Like, it just looks
CGI
like
was
shit.
Really bad looking in this one, like worse than usual.
They spent all their money on Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron, I think, just to get them to be in the movie. They're like, please, here's $7 million.
Hey, Vin, we could save like $8 million that we could put into post-production if the giant land tank doesn't roll on its back for 4 miles. No, that's part of my vision.
So anyway, God, where we're in this plot recap. Okay, so Han is alive. Han comes back. The reunion scene is actually very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, these movies do that. These movies do that type of thing very well, as we've established. Yeah.
So we established that
Roman and Tej are the only two who react like human beings to their friend that's been dead for like, I don't know, what's the timeline? 17 years?
It's not 17 years because Tokyo Drift didn't happen until after the 6th movie.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but it happened
chronologically.
But it happened in that time warp that warped Sean and Bow Wow, clearly 2 decades older.
Okay, so the teen girl is the key. Her DNA unlocks the MacGuffin. So everyone is looking for her.
It seems like her fingerprints unlock it. Like, actually getting her seemed wildly unnecessary.
Yeah,
she just touched it.
Yeah, she just touched it. I don't know.
Like, I don't know, spit on it or something. Make it a little more involved than she just touched the ball and it glows.
Yeah. So they've captured John Cena. How did they capture John Cena?
With Ramsey did it with a magnet through a building. It was actually one of the few truly great.
That's right. Yeah, we skipped the whole part where like
they go to London.
Yeah, they go to Edinburgh. And like John Cena steals the other half of the MacGuffin from a vault under the cathedral there. And then there's a very good chase scene. It's very fun that they have to make Ramsey drive, who is the only person who doesn't know how to drive. Like, that's a smart little bit of filmmaking.
Also, all the magnet shit was great.
Magnet shit is excellent. This movie really leaned heavily on those magnets. And like, honestly, it works. I'm down for these magnets.
I enjoy any movie where in the third act, the group remembers like the weird super powered device they had in the second act.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, remember how we stole that van full of super magnets? Maybe we should use those.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, they didn't have to invent them. It's not like there's only one guy I know that can build a magnet like this. And they go find like a guy who works at Jiffy Lube who we went to high school with.
Randy Magnets, who works at the Dobbs over on I-40.
Randy Magnets is my new favorite character.
And that just happens to be his actual name. It's just a weird coincidence.
Yes.
Magnet's my name, Magnet's my game. What you want magneted?
Oh my god, amazing.
Yeah. I think that Charlize Theron's bad haircut steals the show.
Yes,
it's better than the dreads.
That's what I said.
That's what Joe said, but it's a bad mushroom haircut. And what I said to Joe when I saw it is like, how is it possible that in 2 films they've taken someone who I would put like in the top 10 most attractive people I've probably ever seen, make her look this unattractive? It's just incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah, they spent half of Atomic Blonde with her in cheap wigs and it looked better.
Yeah, absolutely. Atomic Blonde, she looks killer no matter what is going on. In this, she just looks preposterous. It's bad.
Yeah, honest to God, it's like this is definitely her second worst look. The first being the last movie and the third being Monster.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eileen Wuornos looks better than this. This is true.
And it doesn't.
Also, Charlize Theron is in this movie. I don't know that we've mentioned that in this recap.
Well, we mentioned it briefly because
she's in a box for most of it. It's fine.
It's like a Hannibal Lecter thing, but it's to keep her from hacking, I guess.
Yeah, she's got to be in a plexiglass box so she can't hack. She's walled up in there like fucking Magneto. Like.
I love the scene where they're like, hey, she's the only person that can hack this MacGuffin. Give her a World War II Enigma machine and let her...
They can't give her anything modern. She can't access the internet. If she accesses the internet, it's all over, Chris.
All of a sudden, someone's DJI drone just like cuts all their throats, and she's like, "Ha! I stole a cell phone."
Oh wait, we have failed to mention Cardi B showing up.
Yes, Cardi fucking B is in this. Yes, she's part of
that. Was a perfectly good, necessary scene. Good cameo.
Well, she's part of the Lady Hit Squad, right?
Yeah, like, the Lady Hit Squad from the previous movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird energy. Like, I love Cardi B, but like I'm not buying her as criminal mastermind.
No.
I
mean,
masquerading as Interpol, like, is pretty weird.
Well, so it's like when you look up Fast and Furious on Wikipedia and you go down, it shows you the supposed future production going on, right? And under spin-off films, it says untitled woman-led film. So if you think about, so you've got Ramsey, Mia, Letty, we've established Cardi B, Helen Mirren, Charlize Theron. This is fucking action-packed, man. Like, I would watch the shit out of that.
I would be into that, yeah.
Honestly, if it was Helen Mirren trying to take down Charlize Theron, I'd give it an Oscar now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just cut all the dead weight out of these fucking movies.
Yeah. So John Cena is in their torture prison that Mr. Nobody gave them, and then it turns out, he used to work for Mr. Nobody, so he was able to like get his dudes in there, and he kidnaps the teenage girl, and they fuck off to go launch a spaceship, as one does, because they're gonna put the MacGuffin in a satellite, and that is gonna allow them to hack everything simultaneously. So they've got to deal with the satellite, but also they've got to deal with something on the ground. What was the thing on the ground?
The actual device was in the truck.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Right.
So like there was a satellite uplink, I guess, and then the actual device was in the truck. Why were they moving it?
Well, they have to be moving. It's a car film.
Well, yeah, but like, what was the given explanation for why they were moving?
They didn't.
Okay.
They're just like, we gotta find it, and they're apparently their headquarters is just a large armored bus.
Honestly, that tracks for this franchise.
It's got a lot of.
I just wanted to make this was about the point where I like was only half paying attention from like here on. So like, I just want to make sure I hadn't missed something.
It's a large bus-like structure. It has a lot of weapons. It can hack the world. It's sort of a bang bus, if you will.
Oh.
I need a soundboard. I need like a womp womp sound on here.
You edit these. You could do that in post.
I will. That's a good. I make a note to myself.
I do love that I also always mute myself laughing at my own jokes.
It's on video this time. No getting away from it.
That's funny.
Yeah. So Sarah,
that's smart, because like I very obviously like cried laughing at my own Randy Magnets joke, which is not a good look.
It was worth it.
Oh, I think if you do it right, it can be charming, Sarah. You're fine. It was like maximum 25 seconds. You're good. You just got to keep it under 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what's going on in the Bang bus?
The teen girl had to touch a ball.
Jesus.
You set me up for that one. I had to take it.
I feel
well done. Well done.
I literally can't say anything else until we move on from this Bang bus joke, you guys. So we have to like I refuse to say anything else.
It's fine. Okay. Yeah, the teen girls on the Bang bus touching the ball, and some other guys want to get in on it.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel really needs to get on that Bang bus.
We gotta move on.
Well, at this point is the one where they've split up the magnets into like 8 different cars and are just causing mass carnage in the most delightful way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think that the best use of the magnets in general to me is the space magnets that fail. And that Tej is like, why didn't I think about that? They totally would fail in space, right? Yeah. But then you've got Roman's like, you know, brilliant moment that he had earlier in the film where he's like, are we not invincible? Like, look, I've got 14 bullet holes in my jacket and I'm still alive. Which really is like, he is onto something. Like he's onto what everyone watching is thinking, like, why is this fucker not dead? Like he clearly should be dead after being ambushed earlier. Even though he was wearing a like Teflon vest or whatever, he still would have been killed.
Breaking that fourth wall a little bit,
And then he's just like, fuck it, let's just run into the satellite because
let's
we'll probably live anyway.
Satellite.
Yeah.
In a Fiero with rockets strapped to it.
Yeah, Tej and Roman are in space at this point while the magnet car chase is happening down on the ground.
Yeah.
They're in space in a Pontiac Fiero.
The Tokyo Drift crew builds rocket cars for some reason.
Yeah, I guess.
And like they've stated that they make money doing it. It's not clear who's paying them to build these rocket cars.
Yeah.
They seem to be stealing rockets from the German government.
Yeah, because I thought for a second that they were going to be working there because it looked like the German equivalent of like JPL, but then it's like they're like on the sideline just racing. So it looked like they were just sort of like there for the proximity to the actual rockets.
Yeah, it seemed like no one knew they were there.
Yeah,
like they show up and build
it was really not clear what that situation was.
No. I mean, I feel like that whole thing was designed to redeem Sean, to make everyone hate Sean a little less.
Maybe.
I was a little worried about Sean. Like, are you sick, bud? Like, what are you, like 110, 120 soaking wet? Like, what's going on here?
You look like you may be 40, maybe 75. I can't really tell at this point.
That guy was aging poorly in the original film.
Ooh. Yeah,
like, yeah. From the first scene to the last scene,
he was supposed to be a high schooler, and he looked about 35. No,
some people just age prematurely, and he is one of them. Yeah. Because he was so cute in Sling Blade. You know, he had the youthful appearance back in Sling Blade, but like that shit was over. Like he's aged rapidly.
He's got like the opposite of Benjamin Button syndrome.
Yes, he really does. Like he looks old as fuck. Old as fuck.
Yeah, the dude from Warrior is the only one aging gracefully out of that trio.
Yeah. I was telling Joe though, I think that
guy
Mia.
in Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've seen Tokyo Drift now that I can't fucking remember.
Well, again, in filming time, it's been 20 years. He looked quite a bit different back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in it.
What were you going to say, Tracy?
Oh, I think I was telling Joe that I think Mia has aged really well. Like she was, she was like, she was so young in the first film. Like it's nice to see her grown up and actually like have some like role to play in a film.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was nice to see her not just be like the babysitter mom character, that like Brian got to fill that role in this film.
They did some quick retconning, like, oh yeah, I'm also a hacker.
Right.
Yeah, I was back then too. Just no one knew it about me.
She kind of did it in like 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at some point in this movie, everyone has sat down in front of a keyboard and typed rapidly and gotten into something.
That's all hacking is, Chris.
Yeah. Well, we've established
you just gotta have 100 words per minute.
You do, like, and car hacking is very important in this.
Tej entered this series as a mechanic / jet ski aficionado, and now he's a rocket scientist / master hacker.
Listen,
and also a ninja.
And also
a ninja.
Do we think that with talking about the throuple there, do we think that originally there was supposed to be romantic tension that was supposed to be resolved there, and they just forgot about it for movie, and they're just like, oh, that's all behind the scenes. This is sort of charming to have all 3 of these characters everywhere at once.
No, I like that they've clearly sorted it out, and like they've definitely fallen into like a mom, dad, idiot, child dynamic.
Yes. Hacker parents with child with no discernible talents. Yeah.
Admit it, we've all known this version of a throuple.
Oh yeah. It's true. It's
the
true.
Established couple and their pet. Yeah, no.
Yep.
No, like they all just like nag each other 24 hours a day and then fuck each other all night long. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy when they use the big electromagnet to rip the spoon out of his hand and spill his cereal. I find that to be very humorous. That was a good use of magnets as well.
Yeah, they cut the scene in the beginning where it shows them at home with a laser pointer going around the kitchen, and Roman's just like, where the hell is that dot? I'm gonna kill that dot. When they leave him alone at home, they have a little robot that kind of goes like this with the laser pointer to make sure he exercises while they're gone.
They're at the mall, and they've got him on one of those like phone cord Velcro wristband things. Okay, did we arrive? Okay, so we got through Otto being in the bang bus. We got through all of that. Did we actually finish what happened? Did we get? I
don't think so.
Okay.
Good, because someone needs to explain to me exactly what happens. Because if I remember, and this can't be accurate, they flip the bus over, which appears to be going, I don't know, 60 miles an hour at the time. And it then proceeds to continue under sheer momentum on its back for 8 or 9 miles.
I mean, in like 2 movies ago, there was a runway that was like, what, 300 miles long? We figured out. So like,
it's magnets, Chris. All magnets.
It's magnets.
How do magnets work? No one knows.
We need to check in with our resident expert, Randy Magnets.
We gotta get Randy Magnets.
Get him on the
line.
Randy Magnets is busy opening for the Juggalos, explaining magnets. Yeah, well, my personal favorite is that whole business was even weirder because, like, as like Vin Diesel jumps into the thing that's already upside down, so that he can like punch the MacGuffin and then blow up the car, but like you don't actually hear what's going on because it's just this touching Roman monologue as he's orbiting the Earth, talking about sacrificing himself by kamikazing the satellite.
Yeah, so they do that, but like it's fine. Like there's really not even any tension in that scene.
No, they did it, and then got out and pushed the car to the International Space Station.
Yes.
there is a point that bears mentioning where Cypher, Charlize Theron's character, it does look for like 1 second like she actually is going to die or has died. But then, of course, she's on like a VR drone rig and she's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. After Vin Diesel, I don't even remember how, but somehow uses the giant, the beast, as they called it, to hit an airplane out of the air. It wasn't clear how it happened.
I don't remember exactly what happened there.
I think all of us kind of stroked out at that point. I just...
Even he doesn't know. He just crossed himself and is like, do your thing.
Right. And of course he escapes by just jumping out of the door and like ending up like just sitting on his butt, and like, you know, Letty's like, oh baby, and he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
He rolled like twice. Oh, you know what, it's fine. We totally left out the part in the film where again Vin Diesel is like, oh, hold him off, and he fights off like 30 dudes. And then he grabs 2 chains hanging from the roof and, like Samson, pulls an entire missile silo down around him, which then causes him to go in the water, which negated his unbreakableness. Yeah. And he went to car heaven and had a car realization about his car dad.
Yes.
And then 106-pound Michelle Rodriguez dove underwater and drug Vin Diesel out.
Yeah.
See, if you had made Michelle Rodriguez tear down the missile silo with her bare arms, I would have believed it.
I was fine with them tearing down the missile silo. That's like on brand for this whole goddamn series of Vin Diesel can literally rip apart the world with his arms.
Yeah.
No, the problem with this movie is anytime characters talk to each other. Han, you're alive. Yeah, I know. I'm disappointed too.
Yeah. There was some pretty bad dialogue. It's true. Like there were some good fight scenes, like the women fighting in Tokyo in that apartment. Like that's a really great, solid fight scene. I really enjoyed that.
The close quarter stuff is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is just so much unbelievable shit, like where John Cena's like ziplining across the city in Edinburgh, like, and Dom's like following him by car to like chase him down, and then he's just like running, jumping rooftop to rooftop to chase him.
Okay, remember what he looks like when he's running on the rooftops. This is what I'm talking about. Vin Diesel can't bend his knees.
No, he looks bow-legged when he does it. It's very awkward for sure.
Again, he runs exactly like Pitbull dances.
Okay, do we want to talk about car religion? Because there's a lot to get into with car religion.
Yeah,
sure, but real quick, I want to point out my theory about the whole Tokyo subplot.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is definitely the writers realizing that they have 2 female characters who have supposedly known each other since they were like 12.
Yeah.
Who have not shared a scene in 9 movies.
Yep.
They're supposed to be like lifelong friends, and it's like like they are clearly talking to each other for the first time in Tokyo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That rings very true. Very, very true.
Also, I did love, did anyone notice that teenage Mia in the race flashback, the way they made sure you knew it was Mia was that she was wearing the exact same floral dress and jean jacket that she is in the present.
Yes.
No,
I did not realize that. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I loved it. They're like, how do we make sure people know it's Mia without labeling them?
Also, I think she had bangs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would make more sense.
All right,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. I do think it's funny how much more attractive Dom's younger self is. than he is, than the actor wise. I thought that was definitely a Vin Diesel choice. He was like, this is exactly what I look like.
Yeah, but he got that Dom energy so damn.
Oh no, he did, yes. Very true.
Honest to God, if you told me that like he was the son of Vin Diesel, Benicio del Toro, I would 100% believe you.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Sarah, so what are the dogmas of car religion that we've established?
Oh, there's so much car religion stuff in this one. The Han stuff is obviously very important. We learned that Han did not make a deal with the car devil. He was in fact protected by the cars. So
or
we don't
is Mr. Nobody the car devil?
Oh, that's a possibility. We don't really know Mr. Nobody's true intentions. Like, knowing this franchise, there is like a 40 to 60% chance that he comes back as the villain in the next one. Like, we just don't know. But so far it's looking like we still don't quite understand what you have to do to end up in car hell. Honestly, it's not clear that Giselle is in car hell because she died outside of a car. Like, she was outside of the car's protection. We don't know theologically what happens there.
See, I keep thinking
there's a bit of a mix-up. She's actually in airplane heaven.
See, I keep thinking it's like a Greek mythology thing, and it's more like the car underworld, and you can go in and get in like free people from the car underworld.
Oh, or that's also a possibility.
Or people can like escape the car underworld, which is what I think probably happened to Han.
If you live your life to the tenets of the car faith, you go to the Elysian 500, an eternal raceway.
Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. We all remember the conversation that Roman has with Tej and Ramsey, where he's like, "Isn't it weird that like we've done all of these things and we're all alive? Like, what's happening?" And also Roman, so like that means that like they don't all seem to realize that they are protected by the car gods. Like, do they realize that they're following the path of these car gods? Like, do you have to be an active participant in order to receive the benedictions of the car gods? It looks like no. And also Roman is like survives nearly getting shot to death by like 14 fucking Mexican soldiers, and he is not anywhere near a car. So true. I think that Roman is maybe the car messiah.
Maybe. Yes.
Wait, was Idris Elba the car antichrist?
Maybe. I don't know if Hobbs and Shaw is a canonical text. I don't know where it fits in theologically. Hobbs and Shaw may be the Dead Sea Scrolls of the car religion. We just can't be sure.
Hobbs and Shaw is definitely apocryphal. I think you're right, Sarah.
Hobbs and Shaw is the Judas gospel.
Hobbs and Shaw is the Paradise Lost of Christianity. It's fan fiction about the car religion.
I mean, all of this is really going to boil down to what happened to Giselle. Most of our questions will be answered.
I know, that is the linchpin of car religion. What happened to Giselle?
Yeah, and I also
I think she's dead for real, because I think that Gal Gadot is way too big to be in these fucking movies anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like this is after Gal Gadot did her second Wonder Woman movie. It was like, fuck this, I'm not. I can only do so much trash if I ever want to be in a serious movie again.
My guess is reusing that 3 seconds of footage probably cost them more than any of the other actors.
Probably. I don't know how the residuals on that work, but like,
yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, again, Roman, Tej, and God, what Ramsey? Only characters I give a shit about. Honest to God, everyone else, I don't care. Oh, little Brian, isn't he cute? No, fuck little Brian. What's with this kid? He's bringing nothing. I don't care.
He's gonna be just like his mom, where they just should get rid of him in an earlier movie, but they're gonna keep him around until he's 35, and then he's gonna die in like an unceremonious way. It's gonna be the same thing. Same thing.
How long do you think these movies are going to go on for, Joe?
Oh my God. I mean,
Vin Diesel swears the next one is the last one,
yeah.
unless they let him make a musical.
Okay, but how many Bond films? Bond is celebrating its like 60th anniversary. I mean, how many of those movies are there?
Like, Vin Diesel has been saying that this is the last one since like the 7th one.
That's right.
Okay, so
did y'all see this stuff where Vin Diesel called out The Rock on Twitter and like really pissed him off?
Oh yeah. That bridge is forever burned. He is not coming back in 10.
Yeah.
But he like invoked Paul Walker. Like he was just like, hey, like he would want you to be here, like all of this shit. And like Dwayne The Rock Johnson was just like, that's hella inappropriate. I already made this clear. Yeah.
Well, this is why
it was interesting though. I had read more recently that it was not just Vin Diesel that did not want him back. Like apparently a lot of the specifically the guy who plays Roman, I can't remember his name.
Tyrese.
Yeah,
Tyrese apparently was like, yeah, no, it's him or me. Like, fuck that guy.
Wow.
I never want to be. Yeah.
Dang.
Apparently, like, no one enjoyed working with him.
Man.
Interesting. Well, I mean, that's why you have John Cena now, because they were just like, get us another wrestler, dude.
Yeah. Get us the most likable wrestler in history.
Yeah.
And they were like, Randy Savage is dead. And they were like, well, shit. Get the next one.
Yeah.
What if it had been Hulk Hogan?
Oh God.
Brother, I'm your brother.
What happens to John Cena at the end of this movie? He just takes off into the sunset?
Yeah, he's like wanted by several governments, I guess, but like he's part of the family, so they're like, whatever. So he just like goes.
Somebody once gave me a 10-second car as a second beginning. I owe you the same thing.
So did you all catch that at one point Dom says something like, he's like working on his car. I don't know cars, but it's like the muscle car that he always has in his garage. And he says something like, if you take good care of this car, it's immortal. And then this is the same car he has in every fucking movie and also blows up in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's some religion thing related to that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely part of car religion. We'll have to think about that.
Dom's dad's Charger is the true cross of this religion. Also, didn't they state in the first one that his dad died in that car?
Yes, and then his dad just dies in a rally car in this one.
Yeah.
So whatever. Yeah, I think they did.
Was it clear in the first one that his dad was a professional racer? It's been so long since we've watched the first one that I cannot remember.
I think they said he was a racer.
Okay.
I think they did. Yeah, I remember that. Oh my goodness.
And did they establish, because I know that Dom going to jail because he like went after a dude with a wrench, like it was established in the first one, but like did we establish that it was the guy who like fucking ran his dad off the track?
No, it was just supposed to be a random thing.
So
because that context is like critical in understanding his moment of rage. I agree.
Yeah.
I do enjoy how we've actually it's only been 4 months since we watched the first one. It seems like way longer than that.
Has it?
August 4th is our first Fast and Furious episode.
Damn.
It seems like years.
Yeah. We've been doing this since 94. Before the movies even started to come out, we've been working on this series.
Oh my God.
We don't know what we're doing next, so that's something we got to figure out in the next couple of weeks.
Ooh, yeah. We'll have to. Well, so maybe we can. Does anyone have anything else? Okay, so let's figure out where this ends up in our ratings.
Oh yeah, rankings. Where is it in the rankings? Let me look. I feel like it's like mid-tier, but I don't know.
This is my new bottom. I hated this more than Tokyo Drift.
Interesting. Okay.
Did you hate it more than 4? Because 4 is your actual bottom.
Oh. Okay, second from the bottom.
Second from bottom. Okay.
Oh, this is hard.
I know. I'm looking at my list because, like, it's not good, but there were some things that I liked about it.
Yeah, for me, it was like Helen Mirren, Cars in Space. That takes it from the bottom third to the mid third.
Like, Cars in Space is good. Honestly, like, the deepening of the lore with all the dad stuff, like, kind of worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were some good action scenes. The throuple was obviously good, but, like, also it was at least a half hour too long.
It was.
God, this movie was long.
It was real long. I'm gonna put this below Tokyo Drift. So this is like fourth from last for me. So it's bottom of mid third for me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this. Oh, did I like this more than 8? I don't know. I think I liked it mildly more than 8 because 8 had like so many plot issues that I could not get past. I think this is right above 8 for me.
So for you, Sarah, that is 5th out of 11. Or no, 6th out of 11.
Yeah, that feels right.
Okay. All right, Tracy, what about you?
I think this comes in after Hobbs and Shaw for me.
So for you, this is third from last.
Yeah.
So this one really, I mean, we all have similar sentiments about it, but we put it in fairly different places.
Yeah.
Okay. So the question now is, how do we transition to a regular ass podcast in some way?
Or hear me out. Okay. Hear me out. Sarah, I need your help. I'm blanking on an actor's name again. Really tall Irish dude who fights things.
Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson. Thank you. We watch all of the Liam Neeson fights a thing movies in order.
How many of those are there?
I don't know. There's no concise list. We'd have to make the list ourselves.
We're gonna have to do some research before any of us commit to that, because that could be like 40 fucking movies.
He fights wolves. He had a new one out last year where he fights the mob with a snowplow. That's a real movie. Look it up.
Oh, let me pull up Liam Neeson's IMDb page.
God, what's a good action movie with female protagonist?
Yeah, let's watch a movie that actually passes the Bechdel test. Let's watch one of those.
God, an action movie.
Filmography of Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yes, I would watch the shit out of that.
Because I will watch literally anything she's in.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would let us watch Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
It's my way to finally get Scott Pilgrim on now that Aaron's gone.
I forgot Aaron doesn't. I don't know, man. That's weird. Not liking Scott Pilgrim is a little baffling to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Michael Cera at all, but I still love that fucking movie.
That makes the movie work more.
It does.
He's supposed to like Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Right. He's that character. Yes.
I have not heard of half of these fucking movies on Liam Neeson's IMDb page, so I cannot confirm or disprove that they are movies in which Liam Neeson fights a thing.
Look, I'll do some research. I'll put together a spreadsheet.
Does Schindler's List count?
God. We cannot talk about Schindler's List on this podcast.
Because he's fighting the Nazis?
Right. No, we have to eliminate all of the quality Liam Neeson movies.
Does Kinsey count? He's fighting social norms.
Well, there you go. Love Actually, he's fighting grief.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
I beat grief so hard, I got to fuck Claudia Schiffer.
Okay.
Then I fought a wolf.
I think the next series should be something less dude heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Agreed,
so
agreed.
Liam Neeson, I think, may need to get put on the back burner, or maybe on a different stove entirely. I don't know.
The stove doesn't give a fuck what you think about it, Sarah. The stove is God's perfect killing machine.
Can we just do like people awkwardly cast in action movies when they clearly don't want to be in the action movie? I think that's kind of
too broad. I don't think that's anything.
Like, is that just leading up to us watching The Batman? Which will be the first ever Batman movie made by a guy who doesn't like being Batman.
That's Robert Pattinson's whole thing, though. He hates the character that he plays.
Pretty much always, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, we will figure this out.
Yeah.
And come back. Does anyone? I mean, we can bring this up in our next episode, but obviously, did everyone watch the new Matrix movie? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next time. I mean, it's worth watching because Trinity does have like a better, more important role in this one.
Oh, so Joe, God, you are underselling this so hard. Sarah, let me put it in terms you'll understand.
Okay.
Lana Wachowski took $200 million from Warner Brothers and turned around and gave them back a coffee shop AU where they are the villain.
Yes.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
This movie is simultaneously adaptation and Matrix fan fiction.
Yeah, no, it
yes,
absolutely.
I love that.
So Sarah,
this movie is designed to piss off so many people. The entire movie is like, one, it's about like, hey, binary decisions are horse shit.
Yeah.
Two, anyone who says us and them is a fascist, even if you don't like who them are. Like, honest to God, through the whole thing, it's just like, hey, all you Nazis that liked my old shit, suck a dick.
Yeah. The binary decision thing also applies to gender binaries, obviously.
Yep.
But like, if you look at, so the character in the background of Chris's video, Sarah, that's like the new Morpheus, right? And in the movie, he's Morpheus, but he's not like the original Morpheus. He's a Morpheus that Neo programmed into a video game within the Matrix.
Okay.
Who then comes to life as an AI in the real world.
Well, specifically, he's an amalgam of Morpheus and Smith.
Right.
Okay.
And you get a scene where he kind of like recreates the teaching Neo Kung Fu dojo thing. But he does it in like a floor-length, chest open red kimono.
Incredible.
Yeah.
While holding a martini.
And
Love
Sarah,
is amazing.
Sarah, the other thing I should say is that the guy who plays King George in Hamilton is the new
Jonathan
Agent
Groff?
Smith.
Yeah.
He's the new Agent Smith.
Incredible.
He steals every scene he's in even more.
I love that King George and Hamilton is your pull for Jonathan Groff.
Yeah. I was thinking that too, but I wasn't going to point it out. No, he is so good. And honest to God, yeah, him and New Morpheus might be the best parts of the movie, but the parts you care about, it really is just a love story. It's just a love story about Neo and Trinity, and they literally meet in a coffee shop. The entire movie revolves around a coffee shop where they had a meet cute.
Mm-hmm.
The climactic battle is in a coffee shop.
That reminds me, should next episode just be one where I get super drunk and finally explain the Omegaverse?
Yeah. Yes. That's a great buffer episode. Do it. We don't even need to be on it. We'll just like mute ourselves and just get some popcorn. That'll be great.
I have to try to get Megan in on that one. It'll be the only one that she will be able to like have input or care. And it's just Sarah and Megan are drunk as fuck between the two of them explaining the Omegaverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we doing the next one in person or what? What are we thinking?
I mean, we can just, we'll just see how everybody feels about it. Because I'm going to be back at work teaching, and I'm going to probably not want to give any of you guys fucking Omicron, because I'm 95% sure I'm going to get it. They're not letting us mandate masks in our classrooms.
Oh, great.
So, and it's Jefferson County, so it's not going to be good.
Inexplicably, I've spent most of the last week shuttling a COVID positive patient back and forth from the hospital. It's a long story, I'll tell you off record. And I got a negative test back today. I'm like, what is it? Apparently this is not that contagious, y'all. Okay, who knew? I mean, I guess you wear the double masks and you're just invincible. You heard it from us, kids.
Great advice, Chris. Thank you.
Chris, Chris, have you perhaps subscribed to the car religion?
The car.
Oh my God, we were in a car.
You were in a car.
Oh my God. I am an adherent to the dogma.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off.
On that note, we're closing out the Fast and the Furious franchise for Gateway
Geeks. The whole
Geeks.
series is built around a Dodge Charger. Come on.
Well, Tracy, we're closing it out until the new movies come out. And if you haven't divorced me by then, you'll be on again. I'm sorry.
We'll see.
I also hate to break it to you, but even if you do, you still have to come back.
That's right.
You just get a really awkward energy, and then you really have to be drunk.
we could just sort out our possessions on air. It'll be great. That's it for season 5, episode 13 of the Gateway Geeks podcast. Thanks for listening, and remember you can find us on Amazon, Audible, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This episode was with Sarah Jane Connor, Tracy Gomillion, Chris Knetzer, Joe Kohlburn, and it was edited by Joe and produced by Sarah and Joe.